All right, Coach Bascom, and I want to talk a little bit about cover three coverage in our blue 4-4 defense. I'm going to focus on the corner here. Right here, you can see we're in a blue or 4-4 because we have four defensive linemen, four linebackers, and that gives us three defensive backs, two corners, and the safety. The safety, by the way, should be cheated over to the strong side, like it says here, like pretty much right over wherever the running back would be in this 10 personnel. The offense here isn't a 10 personnel because there's only one running back and there's no tight ends. So one running back, zero tight ends, 1-0, 10 personnel. So you can see here they're in twins. They got four receivers here, and we have three defensive backs. Our corner here, he's going to have outside leverage. When I say outside leverage, he's going to be lined up on the outside shoulder, aligned on the outside shoulder of the receiver, the outermost receiver. By the way, even if that receiver were to be here, our corner's never going to be further away than the outside sideline part of the numbers. I don't want him coming all the way out here. That would be a mistake. So this would be the worst place he would be. But generally speaking, receiver would be here near the numbers, and we're going to have outside leverage right here. If this receiver here decides he's going to run a deep pattern, a vert, this corner has to be dropping, and we're in a perpendicular situation where we're running side to side. But 1, 2, 3, on that third drop step, he's going to pivot his hips and go upfield with him, keeping the outside leverage, trying to pressure him inside as he's going with him. It's really important that this corner keeps ahead of the receiver. You start off 6 yards off of him. Even that receiver is blazingly fast. You have a 6-yard advantage. He should not beat you deep. And you shouldn't be even. There's an old saying in covering that if you're even, he's leaving. So you need to make sure that you're keeping a bit of a lead on him. Not a huge lead. You don't want to go too deep, because if you go too deep, then he's just going to turn around and he's going to be open underneath you. You don't want that. But what I did want to talk about also is not just necessarily the vert, which is what we see here, or the deep pattern. Sometimes that receiver is going to run a pattern here, let's say like a post. And a post is where he runs 5 to 8 yards deep, let's say, and then breaks inside for the goal post, thus a post. So for this corner here, what you would be doing there is you're going to slow your drop. You're not going to drop as fast as he's dropping necessarily. And then what would happen is you would cheat over to his side. He's still in your zone. So you would slow your drop and then go with him. Still dropping deep, but keeping him underneath. He's still in your zone. You know, you don't want to vacate your zone. All right. So you still have, because you don't have a man, you have a zone. And this is your entire zone right here. Your zone essentially starts 6 yards deep, where you start with your initial alignment on the snap, and it drops all the way back. You're from the sideline to the hash marks. So you don't want to vacate your zone. It's really important you understand that. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about, though, is if this guy here runs what we call a stick route, where he comes here, and then essentially he comes across, and let's say this receiver here runs a post. So seemingly nobody's in your area. If you're this corner here, this might be like, what do I do now? My area is vacant. Shouldn't I just go chase the play? Should I chase the guy that was in front of me? In a man, maybe, but here, no. What's going to happen here is as you're dropping, you're cheating to the edge of your zone, but you're not vacating your zone. Remember, all of this is your zone here. So you want to make sure you're dropping back and staying within your zone to the edge of your zone, perhaps where the play seems to be going, but you don't want to vacate. The reason you don't want to vacate is, let's say this running back here runs into the flats and catches a pattern out here. You have to be aware of that possibility. It's why we don't completely vacate our zone. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but you have to be prepared for that possibility, which is why you don't vacate. The only time you vacate your zone or leave your zone is once the quarterback lets go of the ball. Now you're in a back pedal, so your head should be facing the quarterback. So you should be able to see the quarterback release. You should see his face mask to see where the quarterback is looking. And obviously you should see him let go of the ball. Once he lets go of that ball, then you're headed to where that pass is headed. But until that happens, you're not completely vacating your zone. You might move to the edge of it, but you're not leaving. Hope that made sense.
Are you ready?